Howdy, I'm Kurt Williams, and the answer is, we did. The internet killed Ed Piskor, and we didn't even bother to clone him first. No, we're not going to do that today. So on March 30th, allegations of grooming a minor and then also general sexual misconduct came out against Ed Piskor. In the following couple days, cancel culture did what cancel culture does, and the art gallery in Pittsburgh that was supposed to showcase his work pulled out of showing his work, and the publisher Fantagraphics and the cartoonist Jim Rugg both claimed that they had no affiliation with Ed Piskor any longer. On April 1st, Piskor posted a very lengthy suicide note, and on April 2nd, his body was found. And of course, as soon as that news was posted, we had all kinds of condolences letters from other artists in the medium, but it was essentially too little too late. If you don't know who Ed Piskor is, he's a cartoonist who gained his fame by working on his project, The Hip Hop Family Tree, which I believe earned him an Eisner Award. Hip Hop Family Tree was a very ambitious project aimed at telling the full story of the origins of hip hop. And it was so well done and well received that Marvel even asked him to do the same thing for the X-Men, which is what became X-Men Grand Design, which is my personal favorite work of Piskor's because it does such a great job of telling this complicated, massive ball of tangled stories that the X-Men have had over the past 60 years, and it makes it succinct and elegant and funny. It's clearly the work of someone who cares about the characters and cares about the history and wants to accurately reflect it in an entertaining way, which is exactly what I love. So X-Men Grand Design is easily one of my favorite comics in my collection. Piskor also did quite a bit of work on his own project Red Room, which I haven't read yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it someday. And he also co-hosted a YouTube channel called Cartoonist Kayfabe with fellow cartoonist Jim Rugg, where they would discuss the industry and the craft and have lots of interviews with fellow creators. I'd previously seen a few episodes, and it's a pretty good show. So the point of all that, of explaining what Piskor has contributed, is to show you that this guy really loved comics. He lived and breathed comic books. So when Molly Dwyer and Molly Wright started making allegations against him and sharing screenshots of their conversations, it led to him being blocked from the industry because he was canceled. And let me be very clear, I do not defend people who sexually assault women. I'm pretty sensitive about that topic in particular, as you'll see in my next video. And I don't want it to look like I'm coming down on Ed Piskor's side as opposed to on Molly Dwyer and Molly Wright's side. The bottom line is, I don't know what happened because I wasn't there. And you weren't there, so you don't know what happened. Neither of us know what happened. What we do know is there's an angry mob on the internet who had very little real information and somehow managed to convince a grown man that he would be better off to the world if he was dead. And that is unacceptable. Now, I'm not going to get political, that's not what this channel is for, but I will proudly proclaim that I am against cancel culture as a principle. I believe that it does much more harm than it does good, and it leaves no room for things like forgiveness and grace and maturity. But speaking more specifically, I have no tolerance for cancel culture, especially in the world of comic books. And here's why. I spent 9 years working as hard as I could, trying everything I could think of, working my butt off every day, trying to get some kind of career in music. And every step forward led to 2 steps back. Every time I got my foot in a door, the door would end up closing. Every time I thought I had a friend I could trust, they wouldn't be trustworthy. It was cutthroat. It was a game entirely based on popularity, and if you had money, you were gonna win. And it is certainly no overstatement to say that I was miserable the entire time. But when I transitioned over to comic books in the last year, I was immediately welcomed by the community. It was immediately a much warmer, more friendly experience. In the comics industry, we have a bunch of nerds who just want to make cool things and hang out with other nerds who also make cool things. And that's the extent of it. There's no massive spotlight at the end of the tunnel that everybody is striving for because we all have kind of realistic expectations that we're probably not going to be super well known. So it really is an industry dedicated to a craft, which makes the community so much more cohesive. So when somebody like Ed Piskor, who has contributed so much to comics as a craft and clearly loves the craft, can be cast out by this community that is generally so inviting and welcoming, what even is that? I think it's a failure on all of our parts to stand up for our community. And just to recap really quick, I do not endorse sexual predators, but I do not know what happened. And if you've read his suicide letter, then you know that this guy wanted to apologize. He didn't realize he was doing something wrong. He felt like an idiot and he tried to apologize, but we wouldn't let him. And I don't want to give you too many horrific flashbacks to those cheesy 90s animated videos about bullying, but if you weren't speaking up like I didn't speak up, then you were a bystander, just like me. If you were like me and you just doom scrolled past the news of the allegations and then his gallery being canceled and you said, oh, weird, and then you kept scrolling looking for the next funny cat video, that's bystanding. So I'm seeing this as a wake-up call for myself, and I would encourage you to feel the same. Because this community is supposed to be a community. We're supposed to look out for each other and want the best for our friends in the community. And if the best thing for our friend is some kind of social rehabilitation so he can know to not be creepy, then that's what the best is. But we gotta do that with care. If you can just wash your hands of somebody that you call friend because he messed up and then you never want to see them again, you were not their friend. And look, I don't want to brag, but this channel has the best subscribers on the internet. You guys are super supportive and friendly and curious and welcoming and just great people as far as I can tell. So let's multiply that energy. Let's inspire the rest of the community to be supportive so that the next time one of us stumbles, we don't just turn our back on him, we help him get back up. And again, this is not an anti-Molly Dwyer or Molly Wright video. The way they feel is important. They felt they were wronged and there needs to be justice. But not like this. We can do better, and we will do better. So that's it for now. Rest in peace, Ed Piskor, and thank you for all the great comics.